Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be how to get her back after over pursuing. So I've got an email success story today from a guy who he turned his platonic girl friend of 2 years into a romantic girlfriend. But what's interesting is that once they started dating and hooking up, it wasn't until he noticed she was backing away and starting to cancel dates that he had become guilty of over pursuing because it happened slowly over time. And so he talks about how he backed off and now things have completely turned around. She's pursuing him and she said that something has changed about him, but she can't quite put her finger on it. So I got a quote that I wrote, and then we'll go through his email. Because this is a good email, because a lot of guys, this totally reminds me of what would happen in my 20s, and me being naive and not knowing any better, and not having access to books like mine, or the internet for that matter, because this would have been in the 90s. I would literally just chase the women right out of my life and have no idea, and then get friend zoned. And so that's where this guy started out, and obviously the last thing he wanted to do was get stuck back in platonic friend zone after making it to the promised land. So the quote says, when a man overpursues a woman in the courtship, she starts feeling smothered and like she is losing her freedom. She will predictably back away and become less open to spending time with him, and maybe even start breaking dates and saying that she is confused and needs space. If this happens to you, back away and wait for her to contact you first, and then set the next date. It's always better to let a woman do 80 to 90% of the calling, texting, and pursuing. She will like you more if she has to seek your attention and validation versus you seeking hers. Obviously, it's a very simple thing to do, but when a guy is in the middle of this and his emotions are involved, especially if he's been successful for a while, it's hard to resist the urge, especially when there's several days or maybe a week or so goes by of total radio silence because he's thinking, wow, am I never going to hear from her again? Did I totally screw this up? Especially the more he likes her, the harder that is to do, especially if you're doing it for the first time. You'll be chewing all your fingernails off, waiting to see what happens and wondering whether or not you pursue too much to the point where she doesn't care if she ever speaks to you or hears from you again. So he says, hello, Coach. Just wanted to write this email to thank you and inspire guys out there that if your 3% man methods are applied the right way, that success is almost guaranteed. Well, this is, again, the almost is assuming that the woman is normal and healthy and not a lunatic, because there are plenty of them out there. And if you want to see the lunatics, go to my TikTok account at Coach Corey Wayne and look at all of the comments and the red flags on women videos. Definitely hit a nerve with those. And look at their profiles. You'll get a good laugh. A little backstory. I've been seeing this girl for about 5 months now, and she's always been a good friend since I met her at college my freshman year, which was 2 years ago. We were always playful and fun with each other, but truly never saw each other as anything more than great friends. We've seen each other go in and out of different relationships these first 2 years in college, but never even contemplated hooking up with each other. This was all until a concert in September where alcohol and good times were involved, and we hung out, had fun, and yes, hooked up. You did the naughty. I didn't see it as anything more than just a fun night with an attractive friend, but as the weeks went on, we started hanging out more often, and the passion and vibes were at an all-time high. Now aware that this was the honeymoon phase. We always ended our nights with each other after parties, took fun trips, and just enjoyed each other's presence. Everything was going fine until December. A lot of breakups happen around the end of the year. A lot of women wait, fresh start after they want to spend the holidays alone, and so usually first few weeks of January is when they drop the bomb, when they lower the boom, so to speak. She started to go cold and distant. Hangouts were less frequent, intimacy was dying, and she started flaking and having excuses on why she couldn't come over. I have previously read 3% Man about 4 times in the past, So another guy that didn't read it 10 to 15 times and practice it. He read it, he's like, I got this, no problem. But when you get your emotions involved, it's like it goes out the window. Because you have to apply it enough and know the material well enough to have new experiences that overwrite all of the ways that you behaved in the past. If you just read it a couple times and then wait till you get serious with somebody to utilize it, especially the longer it goes by, the less you're going to remember it. And the poorer your performance will be in more ways than one. He said, instead of trying to or chasing or trying to get to the bottom of her sudden loss of attraction, I pulled back. I stopped texting or reaching out and turned my time and attention internally to my own goals. That's what men do. They focus on building their empire, so to speak, focus on building their life, a great life and a great lifestyle. And women notice guys that are happy and having fun and got their lives in order, because those are guys that are in their masculine. Their feminine women are naturally attracted to that and naturally will try to get those guys' attention. He says, for the first time in my life, I became aware I was putting too much effort into a relationship. So he realized that he was way more into her than she was into him. And even though she was breaking dates, because that's the hard thing, things are going along good for a few months, and you get used to it being that way, and then all of a sudden she backs off, and you're like, oh, I'm not over pursuing, must be something wrong, or maybe it's that time of the month, or maybe she's just having a difficult time, and guys make up all kinds of rationalizations. But the reality is, when a woman goes cold, it's typically because you've pursued too much. Now, this is assuming that she's normal, not a lunatic. This was the first time in a relationship where I successfully applied your concepts, and holy fuck, the tables turned fast. After about a week of me going silent, working on myself while busy at work, school, and the gym, she texted me saying how much she missed me and how she wanted to hang out that same night. This is where that time and space I talk about in the book is so important. You didn't do anything for that. You just focused on yourself and got busy with other things because you noticed that she was not valuing your time and your attention. The quickest way to get somebody else's attention is to remove yours, and that's what he did. She was taking him for granted, so he stopped giving her his time because she wasn't valuing it and started spending it elsewhere with people who did value it more than she did. And that's what high-value men do. They only give their time and attention to people who reciprocate and value it back. About a few weeks later now, she is doing about 90% of the calling, texting, and pursuing, and I'm always aware of how I'm showing up. I put my priorities in life first, and she's commented herself on how something has changed about me in the best way possible. Well, that's what we're looking for. So in other words, it's a nice way of her saying, wow, you're starting to act like a man finally. This is awesome. I continue to read and apply your book as my life progresses, but I just wanted to write this and give a heartfelt thank you and let all the guys struggling in their relationships out there know that at the end of the day, they do hold the true power in their relationship, their time and attention. The greatest gift you can give anybody is the gift of your time, as I always say. Take this away from a woman and she will do anything to get it back, provided she values it. So if you got a question or a challenge or a situation you're in and you don't know what the hell to do, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.